Hello everyone, welcome to Contentment Guide Astrology. I am Michelle. I work with Hellenistic astrology and I also blend in modern astrology to find all the things that work in the best way for me and I find that bring the best results for my clients. So this video is about the new moon in Aquarius. For most of us, this will happen on the 29th of January. And for those in far eastern time zones, it's going to happen on the 30th of January. So this new moon is taking place at 9 degrees and 51 minutes of Aquarius. At this time, the planets are very heavy in Aquarius and also Pisces. We have a stellium in Aquarius of the sun and the moon at 9 degrees 51 minutes. And we also have Pluto in Aquarius and Mercury in Aquarius. So on the same day, on the 29th, and this will be a little bit past its exact moment already at the time of the new moon. But on the same day, there's also Mercury being conjunct to Pluto in the sign of Aquarius. And then the other stellium that's happening at the moment is happening in Pisces. We have Saturn at 17 degrees of Pisces. We have Venus 25 degrees, Neptune 27 degrees, and then we also have the North Node that has recently moved into the sign of Pisces. So back to the planets in Aquarius first. So the sun and the moon are coming together at a new moon. A new moon is like a seeding point. When the sun and the moon come together, it's the start of a new cycle. It's seeding and bringing energy to bring new things to light and for us to find new experiences in this new lunar month. So firstly, Aquarius. So Aquarius is that sign of the future. It is about the people. It is about power to the people and for us to make better decisions, to govern ourselves and how we see ourselves and how we individually fit into the bigger picture of the world. Aquarius is very futuristic. It is about expansion in terms of seeing things in very futuristic ways, like in terms of whether we are dealing with AI or just general technologies and inventions and all of these things. So new moon in Aquarius, you can see where this falls for you specifically in your birth chart. And in that way, it's going to influence each of us more personally. So with the Mercury and Pluto conjunction, I'm going to say a little bit about what Pluto and Mercury are about. So Mercury is about our intellect, it's about communication, it's about commerce, it's about our minds and our thought processes. And Pluto is that energy that brings depth. Pluto can be quite contradictory in the sense that it deals with the microcosm and the macrocosm. And so we can see absolute minute details and see things in our intellect and our communication and approach things in new minute steps that we may not have seen before. Or we can have these really macroscopic visions of how to now deal with things in new ways. So Pluto brings depth. Pluto brings transformation, and with Pluto, sometimes there is something to be let go of before new things arrive. So with this stellium in Aquarius, we are dealing at this new moon with finding new ways of communication, completely new ways of thinking, communicating, maybe dealing with commerce. Just our internal thought processes can be completely transformed, and we can find new ways forward. And in Hellenistic astrology, the ruler of Aquarius is the planet Saturn. So Saturn at the time of this new moon is the ruler of this new moon, and is sitting in the sign of Pisces. So Saturn in Pisces is actually quite a contradiction by itself, because Pisces is that area of expansion and bigger visions and dreams and illusions and nighttime dreamscapes, all of these things that don't feel very real to us, that are a little bit harder to physically grasp onto. And with Saturn, we are dealing with reality and the physical world. And Saturn is also that boundary between the physical and the non-physical. So with Saturn and Neptune together in Pisces, and this has been happening for a few years now, we are dealing with that contradiction of finding a point in reality, in the bigger scheme of the planet that we live on, and also internally for ourselves. We are dealing with those tensions, real internal tensions of opposites, and finding new ways of seeing what seems real, what is truth, what is a lie, what can be achieved in reality, what is just a fantasy. We're dealing with boundaries, with lack of boundaries, and also surrendering of control in some instances. And with Saturn in Pisces, there's also a change in how we approach our intuitive abilities. And later this year, Saturn and Neptune are both going to move into the sign of Aries for a while, then come back into Pisces and move back into Aries again. But my point being is that they are still going to be walking together in the sky for a while. So for now, for the last few years, and also for a few years to come, we are going to be dealing with these contradictions internally and externally still. So this feels like a very positive new moon. It feels very prosperous. Pluto is often given a bad name in terms of, the transformation that Pluto can bring can sometimes feel very challenging to deal with, because often things will be completely transformed and things will die or be removed before we move forward again. And these are very challenging things for us to deal as humans. But Pluto is also the symbology of very, very deep wealth. So there's something about this new moon with Pluto and the planet Mercury of commerce, and with a new moon in Aquarius. It feels very prosperous, and this can be in a physical way, but also in an internal emotional, in terms of finding emotional satisfaction and just really feelings of ease and progress. So the new moon at almost 10 degrees is also trine to Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter is still a retrograde at this point. It is moving very, very slowly. It's about to turn direct in the first week of February. So a trine is a more easy and flowing aspect, and Jupiter brings that expansion and that ease that I was talking about before. So the trine to Jupiter is going to bring ease for us in dealing with the changes in our expansion and our belief systems. And it's another layer of bringing this ease and this progress into this new moon. So the last aspect I want to mention is the fact that at the time of this new moon, we are having a sextile between Neptune at 27 Pisces, Uranus at 23 Taurus, and then also a sextile between Uranus at 23 Taurus and Mars at 21 of Cancer. So these two sextiles are pointing a lot of energy at the planet Uranus. So there's definitely an element at this new moon of light bulb moments, sudden changes and realizations. And I would say even more so because Uranus is basically standing still at the moment. When a planet is standing still, it's almost like it is conjunct itself because it's just sitting at that point. And Uranus is about to move forward again on the very next day after this new moon. So there's a very strong Uranian energy at the time of this new moon. And Uranus is also the modern day ruler of the sign of Aquarius. So this new moon, we're dealing with sextiles between Neptune, Uranus, and also Mars and Uranus. So these are also more positive flowing aspects. But definitely with Uranus being pointed to, there is such an element of change and new directions, and really the possibilities of seeing things in a new, fresh way and being able to move forward and letting go of things because we now have these new, fresh perspectives happening. So this new moon feels very positive to me. And the I Ching reading definitely reflects this as well. So I threw the coins. I only got one hexagram, 35, no changing line. So this is a lot of clarity. Hexagram 35 is called Prospering or Easy Progress. So this feels like a very, very nice energy for this new moon. The hexagram reads, the clearer you are, the brighter your light can shine. At this time, there is expansion and increased clarity. And the expansion has to do with the trine to Jupiter. And the increased clarity for me can really have to do with that conjunction of Pluto and Mercury. Because Pluto can bring this really, really depth, a very, very deep insight. And Mercury, conjunct Pluto, Mercury being about our mind and our thought processes. So yes, expansion and increased clarity. It says a seed that was planted before is now emerging into the full light of day. So there's something here that was planted and is now growing and thriving. Be calm in your strength and poise. Take delight in new things. So there's a real sense here of whatever is emerging and developing at this point is something for us to pause and really take delight in and see what the good things are and see where we are prospering and making progress. It says, step into the light and share with others. Give and receive freely and welcome a new day. So this hexagram is pointing so much to the fact that this really is a new day. In the week before this new moon, we also had a first conjunction with Pluto being permanently in Aquarius, and Pluto was conjuncting with the Sun. So that was also a seeding point. So this really is a new day. There's something in the Aquarius part of your chart that is really bringing a new day forward. And then the last thing I want to share for this new moon, I drew 2 tarot cards. And the interesting part of what the tarot is bringing to this new moon reading is a sense of balance. So the first card I got is the 2 of Pentacles. And this card is about balance. He has a pentacle in each hand, and he's kind of like almost juggling and balancing. But what I love about this card is also the infinity sign, because we are really tapping into the infinite of who we are. And the 2 of Pentacles is about internal and external balance. In the progress of cards, it is more about a pause point. So it can be about going inside, and it really, for me, connects to those symbologies of Saturn and Neptune. Finding our own inner balance point in terms of our boundaries and what is truth to us, what is illusion, where we are now standing in how far we've come, what we have learned, and where we have now reached a new balance point, because our balance points keep on changing. As we evolve, we need to pause and actually find our new balance point. So this is a beautiful card to bring to this new moon in terms of finding some time to go inside and find your new balance point in terms of Saturn and Neptune. And you can also see that the sea is quite, the swells in the background are quite big. So there's something here that he's standing on the land, but it's almost like he's dancing. So there's something playful about this internal quest of finding balance. But then also the swells on the ocean that are quite big might be some emotional things that we need to deal with and balance at this point as well. And then the second card I received for this new moon is the Star. And the Star is a beautiful card. And for me, the Star also relates to balance. It deals with intuition. There's a lot of water in this card. But as you can see, this person has one leg on the land, which is the grounding of the mind and the body, and one leg in the water, which is the emotions and the intuition. And she is pouring water on both those elements, on the earth and the water. So there is a balance point here as well, where we are deciding where we are putting our intuition and finding new ways of intuitively dealing with grounding and emotions and working with these different balance points. The star is the card in the deck that follows on the Tower card. So the Tower card is often a place where we experience a lot of sudden change. And so in a way, the star card also symbolizes a point of slowing down and going inside to find a new balance point after all the change that we've gone through. So the star is about a pause, it's about integration. In the background, there's also a bird of prophecy sitting in a tree, which is allowing us to really connect to what is next for us on our path. The 7 stars in the sky is symbols of the 7 main chakras. So there is even a balance point here for us to find in our chakras and in our physical body. So a very prosperous card, this as well, a card of that gives a real feeling and a real sense of we've now arrived at a new point and a new day after a lot of change. So I really hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you got some value from this. Please like, please share, please subscribe. It helps my channel and my business to grow. I love to hear your comments. Let me know how this new moon plays out for you. And I am doing personal readings. If you would like a reading, please do get in touch. And I'm also still doing the year 2025 ahead personal readings. So get in touch if you would like a more personal approach to this. Thank you for being here. I value each and every person that shows up, and I will see you next time.